Hi, everybody. It's Debra from PeopleLovingAnimals.com. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching today's video. Today's video is going to be a quick one. I'm just going to talk about 5 of the most common reasons why your cat might be refusing to use the litter box. Whether you have a new cat or a kitten, or if you have a cat that you've had for a long time and all of a sudden they aren't using the litter box, I think that you're going to find today's video to be helpful. And then I'm also going to give you some links in the description box to get you some more additional help with this issue and other issues you might be having with your cat. So in case you have not been here before, my name is Debra. I own PeopleLovingAnimals.com, and several times a month I do videos all about the care and health and training of dogs and cats. So if you would like to continue to see this sort of content, please go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Please go ahead and share the channel with your friends and family who have a dog or a cat. They might benefit from this channel as well. And if you find today's video to be helpful, please go ahead and give it a like. It really does help YouTubers by letting YouTube know that you thought the video was good, and they will push it out to more people. And in our case, we'll be helping more animals. So again, thanks so much for watching. I hope I'm able to help you out today. Now, just quickly, 5 reasons why your cat might not be using the litter box. The first common reason, and the first one that you should check into, is if they are having a medical issue. Now, you might be surprised by this. I had a cat several years ago. She lived to be 20 years old, and right around the time she was 14 or 15 years old, she all of a sudden started peeing on my bath mat. Now, she had used the litter box for 14, 15 years. I never had a problem with her, and all of a sudden she was not peeing in the litter box. I took her to the vet. Turns out she had a bladder infection, and the vet told me that the reason she was peeing outside the litter box is because in her little cat brain, all she knew was that it hurt when she peed. If you've ever had a urinary tract infection, you know it burns when you urinate. And he said all she knows is it hurts when she pees. Well, she thinks it has something to do with the litter box. So she was literally going around the house peeing different places, trying to find a place to pee where it didn't hurt. Okay, so your first thing should be to check to see if your cat is having some sort of a medical issue. And that includes if your cat is particularly stressed out for some reason, if you get a new dog, if you bring a new baby home, if your boyfriend moves in, like any of these things. Keep in mind that cats who are under stress are more prone to urinary infections, okay? So the two might be going together. Also, I suggest taking them to the vet first, because you can ask your vet about this, and your vet can probably give you really helpful advice on this as well, okay? The second most common issue is if the litter box isn't clean. Some cats just don't like that. That same cat that I told you about that had the bladder infection, she did not want to go to the litter box if it wasn't clean. Now, luckily for me, for most of her life, her litter box was in my basement, and a couple of times she would poop or pee on the basement floor next to the litter box because the litter box wasn't clean. Some cats are picky about that, some cats are not, but you know, regardless, if your cat will put up with it, you should be scooping your litter box once a day, more often if you have more than one cat, okay? The third reason is they don't like the litter. You might not realize that cats are particularly sensitive to smell. Like everything that we can smell, they can smell it like 100 times more. So it's really not a good idea to get scented cat litters. A lot of cats just, the smell is just too much. They don't like it. They also might not like the texture of the litter. Like if it's a more gravelly litter, it might just be uncomfortable on their paws, and they might just not like it. Also, keep in mind that cats don't do well with change, okay? Particularly their cat litter. Try not to change your cat's cat litter unless you really have to. And then if you do decide to change it, do it gradually over time by mixing in some new litter with the old litter, you know, little at a time, and gradually switch over to the new litter, because they might just go and pee on your couch or on the carpet or somewhere. If they don't like the new litter, they'll be freaked out by it. Most cats will. Now, my current cat, Whiskers, I wasn't sure. Somebody gave me litter when I adopted him. He was a feral cat, and the wildlife place that I adopted him from, they gave me like this huge thing of cat litter. Well, it wasn't necessarily the kitty litter that I wanted to use. So when it was done, I changed it, and I know better. but I don't know, the litter that I wanted seemed so similar that I didn't think it would be a big deal. But I changed his cat litter, and then the next morning I saw him squatting in my potted pine tree. I had a potted tree, and he was squatting in it peeing. So I literally had to leave the house immediately. I went to the store and I bought his old cat litter, and I won't change it again. So, they just might not like the cat litter for some reason, especially if you have changed it. Okay. Keep in mind also that cats that have been declawed, which is illegal now, but there's obviously a lot of cats still alive on this earth who have been declawed, they'll have a particularly hard time with gravelly cat litter because their paws, even years later, are quite sensitive. Okay. The fourth reason is they don't like the litter box. Now, some cats don't like an enclosed litter box, for example. Either they're a bit claustrophobic, they don't like to be in there. If it's a big cat, an enclosed litter box might not be enough room for them to move around in. If you have an elderly cat, they might have arthritis, for example, and they might just have a hard time moving around in the litter box, and being in the enclosed litter box might make it either more difficult for them or impossible for them. Okay, so keep track of how comfortable is your cat in the litter box. Okay. Also, the litter box might be too small. Again, even if it's not enclosed, it might just be too small for your cat. They may not like the location of the litter box, and a couple of reasons they may not like it. First of all, if it's just too far away, especially if you have an elderly cat. If you've always had your litter box in the basement, but now your cat's getting older, they might not be able to do the stairs that well. You also might consider the location of the litter box. Is it in a high traffic area? If you've just gotten a dog, the dog's going to try to get in the litter box. It's going to freak the cat out, so just consider the location of the litter box. Like, is there something, that the cat is not liking? And the fifth most common reason why a cat will not use the litter box is they don't want to share. Some cats just don't want to share. If you have more than one cat, especially if you're bringing a new cat into the house, some cats just don't want to share. Now, it may not be like, for example, say you have a cat for 100 years, they always go in the litter box, and then you get a new cat, and all of a sudden your cat won't go in the litter box anymore. All right, well, it may not be your cat that doesn't want to share. It may be the new cat that doesn't want to share, and the new cat might be being snarky with your cat about the litter box. Do you see what I mean? Now, they say if you have more than one cat, you should have one litter box for each cat. I didn't do that. There's been many times in my life when I have had two cats. Now, I do think if you have three or more, you need to have more than one litter box. But for several years, I had two cats. I had a fairly large litter box. I scooped it every day, and they seemed to be fine. Neither objected to using the litter box. I didn't have any troubles. But if you have more than one cat, you might try just giving them their own litter box, because it might just be bugging them. Okay. Now, a couple more things before you go. I'm going to give you a link to my video called How to Get a Cat to Use the Litter Box. In that video, we go over in much more detail some of the reasons why they might not be using the litter box and some of the things that you can do to solve it. I'm also going to give you some links to, like, for example, I have a video called Why is My Cat a Nervous Wreck? 10 Things That Stress a Cat Out. I have a video about cat anxiety, these sorts of things. So if your cat is having a problem, it could be linked to that sort of thing. And so those two videos will probably give you some help as well. So again, I hope so much that today's video was helpful. If it was, please give it a like. Please go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Again, my name is Deborah, and my website is peoplelovinganimals.com. Thanks again. Bye-bye.